Hello, everyone. I am Stacey Dunn-Emke with NutritionJobs.com and ExerciseJobs.com and DietitianSalaries.com. If you haven't checked out Dietitian Salaries, this is a new one. I just started it about a year ago. There's almost 3,000 surveys of dietitians who completed their salary information, includes their job title. It's all a searchable database. It's free to U.S. people and who are working as dietitians or dietitians to be. So do check that out if you haven't already. I am so thrilled to be able to check in with you guys today about 3 steps. I'm going to say 3 easy steps to take actually today or this afternoon to elevate your career using LinkedIn. So I could go on and on and on about LinkedIn. Like there's courses. I have courses on it. There are courses from other dietitians. There are courses from other people who work in marketing, as recruiters, as hiring managers. So I am not the only person that has all this information on LinkedIn for you, but I do know what simple steps you can take to really make a difference. And I'll tell you because I just recently did this with my own high schooler who's about to go into college and realized his LinkedIn profile was not so bueno. And so we made a couple updates and then it was really fun to sort of watch. I mean, he had 3 connections, his sister, myself, and his dad. My husband, we sent out a bunch of connection requests and got his profile looking a little spiffy and voila, he's in motion to get some opportunity, hopefully. So I'm just going to take us through 3 easy steps that you can take today. This is something that's very attainable. It is not something that is on your to-do list. It's really something you can do right now. In fact, if you want to convert over listening to this webinar on your phone and then work on your desktop or vice versa, you don't have to be looking at me while you're listening to this webinar and just do a few key things. All right, let's go. So you guys know I am a huge evangelist for LinkedIn for dietitians. I think it's just this really great place for us to show up to either create opportunity or to attract opportunity, to be able to connect with fellow dietitians. We're a small group of people. There's only like 100 and 150,000 of us. We need a way to connect outside of conferences. LinkedIn's a fabulous place to do that, but also to connect with other disciplines, other people that can help promote us, people that we can help promote, mentor us. We can mentor, like I could go on and on about this, but do show up on LinkedIn. Don't sleep on LinkedIn. I know it's not as exciting. This is quietly, it's not as exciting as TikTok or Instagram. I know that, but this is where you want to be. This is the work network. This is where you want to be. All right. So I'm going to also share with you that everyone will be looking at your profile, even if you don't have it all spiffy and modernized and up to date. So they're already looking. I think of LinkedIn as like a massive networking event or a conference where everyone has a booth and everyone's walking by your booth. And so if you are looking at your information and you're thinking, oh, like I really need to make it a little bit better, then that I think is going to be super helpful for you to know that there's a booth and there are people walking by your booth. And so you want to make sure that you are showing up for that. All right. I'm going to also share with you that there are some really important things that you want to know about LinkedIn. And that is that as I was preparing for this presentation, a LinkedIn connection came through asking me to participate in a conference, and I thought that was really interesting and fun, and I thought I just wanted to share that with you, that these opportunities do come up. All right, so let's take a look at all those different ways that you can increase your opportunity and to increase your visibility and getting yourself online as a dietitian. I think you want to build out your professional profile. I think that's really an important thing, but also your brand. Like even if you don't have if you're not an entrepreneur or you're working in a traditional job, I think that there are lots of opportunities to be able to show up on LinkedIn and show your visibility and your opportunity and to be able to then build out your business, whether that business is for opportunity within your own company or opportunity for the next company that you want to do. So LinkedIn used to be thought of as just like this job searching platform, but that's not the case anymore. So there are lots of opportunities. So I really want to give you some ideas and ways that you can build out both your profile, your brand, and your business and the business of you. So I'm just going to show you 3 quick things today that you can do. There are, like I said, there's so many more things we could do. We could talk about your recommendations. We could talk about your featured content. We could talk about adding media to your content. You could also talk about adding polls to your posts. There's lots of things you can do, but I'm just going to give you some real quick basics that are not actually basic, that they're actually very, very insightful. And so I'm hoping that will actually help you out. All right, number 1, this might not seem so intuitive. It might seem like sort of like, why am I doing this? Let's get to the business of LinkedIn. Number 1 is to set your intention. This is not a yoga class, but like that's what you kind of have to do for LinkedIn. You have to be able to show up on LinkedIn and signal who you are on LinkedIn by understanding first what kind of vision or outcome that you want to have. And how you do that is come up with a keyword strategy. What are some keywords that are about you that describe what you can do, can describe what your services are, how you can be of service, how you can make money as a dietitian, how you can help another company? What are some of those keywords? I think using me is a great example of what this keyword strategy is. I've been a dietitian for almost, I think, like 30 years. I worked in research, I worked in clinical, I was the ICU dietitian, burn unit dietitian. So I know prostate cancer. I know like lots of different things. I know how to cook. I know how to develop recipes. I can blog about food, but that's not what I want to be known for. That's not the kind of signaling I want to show as showing up on LinkedIn. I want to show up as somebody who has jobs for dietitians, who has career tools, who has ability to help people with their resumes, LinkedIn profiles, their salary negotiation, all that. I want to get asked to give talks on that. I don't want to talk about food and nutrition, right? That's not how I want to make money. That's not how I want to advance my career. So my LinkedIn profile needs to be signaling some key words that relate to the service and how I want to present to my audience. So those keywords, you're going to be thinking about those, and I'm going to give you a bunch of keywords to be looking at so you kind of know what I'm talking about. Those keywords are going to land in your headline, in the about section of your profile, and in the experience, whether it's the work experience you've got or a volunteer experience. It's going to go in those 3 areas. Those are key areas. And let's say you are working as a clinical dietitian or a general dietitian. The keywords would be, it could be clinical nutrition, malnutrition documentation, or nutrition informatics, ICU, interdisciplinary clinical specialist, so that you're signaling to people that you like to work within the other multidisciplinary group within the hospital. Renal nutrition or dialysis dietitian, diabetes educator, eating disorder specialist, sports nutritionist. I include sports nutritionist on here because that oftentimes we think of making sure that we say that we are a sports dietitian. That's true. However, think about LinkedIn as a searchable database. Think about it as a search engine, like a Google or a Bing. That is how people are going to find you. They're going to type in some keywords that they're looking for, and they might not actually type in the word sports dietitian. In fact, if you do like a keyword search for the popularity and the volume of traffic that word sports dietitian gets, it doesn't get as much as sports nutritionist. Think about that. Think about using a word that people are actually searching for. So that's clinical or sort of general. If you want to work as a media dietitian or communications dietitian, these are a lot of different keywords that you can use: media personality, nutrition consultant, brand advisor, marketing communication. It continues on. Nutrition communication strategist, so a little bit different than that you're an expert in it maybe, or you are a health and wellness strategist, expert in the media savvy dietitian, nutrition expert for media. So you're saying exactly what you're doing, or that you're a television or media or social media spokesperson. So you could do that. Or corporate dietitian, corporate consultant, corporate wellness. Those are also keywords that you can use to signal in your LinkedIn profile that you have expertise and want to provide services in that area. What you don't want to do is use a descriptor for what you do that's kind of fun and cheeky and kind of, kind of funny. You can use those words, but I wouldn't make them in your sort of top of mind in your headline or your about section. Well, they could be sort of sprinkled down below in your about section, but maybe say what it is first. So ingredient narrator, you and I both know what that means. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of cute. However, maybe you want to say that you're a menu labeling dietitian or regulatory standards expert or something like that. That's what they're searching for. No one's going to be searching for a narrator, right? So it might not even pop up. I did mention that LinkedIn is a really great search engine. Well, I should say it's a search engine, but it's not as great as some of the other search engines. So it doesn't like help out a lot. So someone would actually have to type in ingredient narrator with like the quotes around it for them to be able to find you. You want to be found, right? Like, so you want to put down words and keywords that people understand and what they're wanting to do. So I wouldn't put something like that. You can, though, include that later on if you wanted to as well. However, if you are a freelance writer and you're working with content creation, there's so many great words that you can include in here. So nutrition content writer, SEO writer, you can talk about being a blog contributor. There's a lot that you can include in here. Recipe developer, cookbook author, nutrition copywriter, health blogger, wellness writer. So there's a lot of different terms that you can use that help describe that type of work that you're doing and signaling for that. The other thing I highly recommend that you do, like right now, if you haven't done this already, I think it's really important, and that is to include the credentials after your name. So the credentials would just be RDN or dietitian to be. You can include your graduate degrees. You can also include your like certified nutrition support dietitian, your FAND. You can include all of your certifications in there to signal to other people that you are an authority. You are an expert. This is something that you are known for. So that shows up when you are commenting on other people's content. They don't have to go searching for it. It already tells everybody that you are a subject expert, that you know this and that you can be of value. So if a reporter is looking to get a quote on somebody and they see you in somebody else's comments, then they're going to know right away, this is a credentialed expert. This is somebody I can likely trust. They'll go on from there and maybe reach out onto your profile or reach out with you to connect with you. But this is the first level connection if you want to be known as a dietitian on LinkedIn. So this is a really great way to signal your expertise. If you want to be a speaker or a podcast guest on someone else's podcast to get the word out about your services or just share your expertise in a different area, then you can include those words. I have that in mine as well. I think I say nutrition speaker or something to that effect. So you can include keynote dietitian if that's what you are. I've never been a keynote, so I'm not going to put that into my LinkedIn profile. You can say you're a health podcast guest. I can say that I was also a podcast guest. You can say that you're a dietitian thought leader, people like that. Although they're not really searching for that necessarily, but if you have some sort of word speaking into your headline, in your experience, in your about section, that will help identify that you are an expert in that area or somebody they can connect with. I swear, oftentimes there are a lot of qualified people. Like there's a lot of qualified dietitians out there. But if you're not top of mind, then they're not going to find you, or you're not a searchable, people are not going to find you. A lot of times people are just connecting with people that they do know or that have identified and shared that they are good at a particular service, and then that's how they get called in to do something. Media trained dietitian, expert panelist, a brand spokesperson, back to that word. I like nutrition communicator. Honestly, I think that everyone should have this. Every dietitian should have that on their LinkedIn profile, except for me. But nutrition communicator, that's what we do. All right, so just sort of summing up again, your number one thing that you're going to do today is make sure that on your headline, in your about section, like first paragraph or first couple lines of your about section, that it has one or two keywords. Like maybe right now off to the side, write down 3 keywords, keyword phrases that you know you want to be known for. Are you a podcast host and you want to make sure people know that? Put that into your headline, put that into your about section. Include that as your experience. So that can be a full actual job as part of what you do. You don't have to have a company page for that. It's nice to have that. That's for another conversation. But put that in there so that people know that's how they can find you. That's how you can be of service to somebody else. That's how you can collaborate with somebody. That's how you can maybe get another job working as whatever it might be that you wanted to signal. All right, set your intentions. Number one, make sure you do that. That takes like 5 minutes. Next thing you want to do is include some skills and endorsements, get endorsements for those skills. So skills is an entire section within your profile, and you can look at your LinkedIn profile and it'll tell you either if you don't already have the skills section filled out, it'll let you know that you can add more to your profile. If you've already got that in there, you might want to add a couple more or rearrange them so that the first two, it used to be the first three, now it's like the first two skills show up that are relevant to how you want to make money as a dietitian. So here's somebody who works in this area of nutrition informatics. This person put as their number one. Number two, nutrition science research and data collection and processing. Ooh, those are so good. Those are exactly what she wants to, how she wants to make money as a dietitian, right? So she's got 33 more. I think you can get a total of 60 skills. And there are a couple ways that you can include those skills besides the whole skill section on your LinkedIn profile. So think about a couple skills that are related maybe to those keywords that you had. So include it in the skills section, make the most important ones, the top two, and then you can rearrange them as well. And then you can add it to your experience sections. I put in here public speaking, job search strategies, and I've got 13 other skills within this job. I've got as a speaker, public speaking and communication. Okay, it's all about that. I may not be the best public speaker or like the best person to have for a talk, but I've got that in my profile. I am open for services in that area, and I am open for collaborating with people and working with people and getting gigs. I get gigs all the time. Again, I'm not the best, but there are lots of other dietitians out there, but people found me because it's on my LinkedIn profile. So include it in your experience section. It makes it very, very easy for you to add skills within your work experience. You can just click the little pencil icon and edit your skills. If you have already put in your work experience a long time ago, go back in there. They have added now the skill section. So go back in and add at least one skill, if not three. So for your work experience section. You can also, here's another person where they put it in, data analysis, nutrition education, FDA labeling regulations. Most of us know that. And if you want to be able to do something like that, add that to one of your skills. The other place you can put it is your about section. So you can see they have this little diamond of what your top skills are. So this is me, but you can have all of your skills in your about section. This is what they see. So when someone is looking at your profile, they are going to maybe scroll down to, they want to know a little bit about you, like what are you? How can you help me? How do I find you? What have you done? They don't care about like where you went to school and all that stuff. That's on your profile. So spend it on how you can be of service. And then right there, top skills. So make sure you add a little bit of skills. So in your profile, go back over to your pencil icon and add some skills in there. They make it, again, very easy to do that. LinkedIn does. If you don't have your about section filled out, I just saw a fancy dietitian. I was looking at her LinkedIn profile to take some screenshots. She didn't have an about section. She wants to make money, and I know that she has a lot of services, a lot of things that she does, and it is not, she did not have an about section. So go back up to the top of the fold of your profile, scroll to where it says like add more sections of your profile. There's a button you can click, and then make sure you add an about section. And it's great real estate to share with people what you want to do. If you are in the job market, if you want to search for jobs and you haven't found the job that you want on NutritionJobs.com, which I recommend is your first place that you go to for dietitian jobs, or if you're brand new to the field of dietetics. LinkedIn, you can see if you have the skills in your skill set that link up and match with a job. So recruiters get to see this on the back end. They are looking for people with skills. This is why you want to align yourself with skills, what you can be, what your superpower might be. So it says, what I've got one of the two required qualifications. Yes, I have dietetic licensure. I am credentialed. Anyway, so I should have all these other things about, good communication skills. So maybe communication, like that would trigger something as well. Maybe I don't have that in my profile. So you can look at what people are looking for, where you might be deficient or might be deficient on your profile, and then you can add that over to where your skills are. All right, I think I just got a couple more. Okay, connections. This is why we're on LinkedIn, right? It's a social network. It's a networking event. It's back to that conference. It is the place that you want to make connections. And so you can't, there's lots, you know how to make connections. But one thing I wanted to say is that you can connect with people, and then if they accept your connection, then you guys are connected. You can message them. You can both work together on things. They get to see all that's in your post feed. You get to see that's all that's in their post feed. Or you can just follow somebody. You don't have to connect with somebody, or if it's not even an option. So maybe there's somebody that's very fancy and they are so fancy that they are no longer accepting connections because they've maxed out at 30,000 or whatever it might be, or they don't want to connect with a whole bunch of strangers. You can follow them, and I then get to see Eric's content. He doesn't get to see mine, and I don't get to message him unless I'm using the premium version. But what you can do is if you are connected, you can message those people. It's a great way to stay in connection with them, but you can comment. And that's how you can engage with them. You can comment on a post that they have where then it shows your name, it shows your credentials, and maybe you can put something that is thought-provoking, a takeaway, a question for them on a post that they included, or some other conversation, some sort of brilliant little one sentence line that you think would be helpful. It gets your name out there to all these other people that are also commenting. They get to see your headline. They get to see your credentials because you put it in on your name. It also helps boost their relevancy, which increases engagement, and that helps them. And hopefully that builds good karma so that people will engage on your own post and boost relevancy. I could talk about connections and engagement on a different day, on a different topic, but that said, it is really helpful to spend a couple minutes every day fostering your connections. And you can just spend like 5 minutes. Well, you can spend a long time on LinkedIn data mining and researching and sort of being a detective and a sleuth. You can look at companies and try to connect with people. I'm always trying to connect with people who I think would be a great voice on Nutrition Jobs for our live events to share with you all kinds of different tactics to increase your opportunities as a dietitian. I do recommend, though, make sure that you are connecting with people and that you're making those connections. Last thing I'm going to share before I'm going to look at some questions is work journal success. Always keep track of your value, your work successes. I think it's really important to do this every week. Look at what projects you completed. Talk about like what your work successes were, positive feedback you received, maybe some challenges you overcame, new skills that you learned. I've got this, if you type into Google work success journal and nutrition jobs, all one word, this will pop up and you can download it. It's a free download, and hopefully that can be helpful to keep all of your work successes top of mind so you can add that to your LinkedIn profile and to your resume and get those two aligned. I had somebody ask how many connections you need to have to demonstrate that your profile is complete as an all-star LinkedIn profile. They still use that word, but they don't use the little star anymore like they used to. And it's 50 connections, 50. So you want to get to at least 50. Most of us have that. And some people have a lot more than that, or you're hovering around that. That's a good number to have. I am so thankful that you guys are here. I hope you can spend just like a couple minutes today, this afternoon, implementing a few of these ideas. So that is making sure that you've got a few connections and that you're fostering a few connections and that you're engaging with people. The other thing you want to make sure is add a couple skills to your headline, to your work experience section, and to your about section. And then making sure that your intention is set for your keywords. We can talk about how to do posts, how to increase engagement on your posts, different time, but there's so much opportunity. But let's start with the basics so that when people go to your profile, they see that, ooh, I want to work with this person. Ooh, I want to collaborate with this person. Ooh, I want to help this person make more money. So that's what we want to do. I am so thankful that you guys are here, and send me a note, connect with me on LinkedIn, obviously. And also make sure you do check out dietitiansalaries.com and nutritionjobs.com. I'm so thankful for you guys being here, and I will talk to you later.